The morning air was crisp at Winterfell as the royal entourage prepared to depart. Eddard Stark, newly appointed Hand of the King, stood beside King Robert Baratheon. His face was a mix of duty and quiet sorrow as he glanced back at the ancient stronghold of his ancestors, knowing this would be the last time he saw it for many moons. Sansa and Arya, his daughters, were by his side. Arya's expression was one of defiance and frustration. She did not want to leave home, least of all to go south where the sun was warm and the people were flatterers. But Sansa, sweet and proper, had a different look about her. A flush of excitement colored her cheeks as she imagined herself as Joffrey's future queen. Nearby, Jon Snow was making his own farewells. He was dressed in the black cloak that marked him as a recruit for the Night's Watch. His half-brother Bran still lay unconscious, his breathing steady but unnaturally quiet. Jon stood over the boy for a moment, his heart heavy. There was no telling when or if Bran would wake. At the door, Catelyn Stark's gaze lingered on Jon with an icy chill, her grief and bitterness hardening into resentment for the boy who was a constant reminder of Ned's past. As Jon stepped outside, he found Arya in the courtyard. Her small face was defiant as always, but when she saw him approach, it softened. With a hint of a smile, he handed her a slender sword wrapped in a bundle of cloth. "It's called Needle," he said. "You'll need to practice every day." Arya's eyes shone with delight as she took the gift, for she had long dreamed of wielding a sword of her own. As they embraced, the weight of the coming separation hung between them, unspoken and heavy. The journey along the KingsRoad began, with the royal procession stretching across the vast, winding road that led south. Horses snorted and pawed at the ground, knights rode proudly, and the rattle of carriage wheels filled the air. Ned rode beside Robert, their friendship one of few comforts Ned found as he ventured away from the north. As the procession moved onward, Sansa and Joffrey wandered away from the main group, walking along the banks of a gentle stream. Joffrey's princely airs and flattering words were like music to Sansa's ears. She looked at him with adoration, never seeing the malice that lurked just beneath the surface. Their moment was interrupted when they came upon Arya, practicing swordplay with a butcher's boy named Mycah. Joffrey's gaze hardened, and with a wicked grin, he drew his blade and taunted Mycah, threatening him for daring to pretend to be a knight. Arya, incensed by Joffrey's cruelty, took up her wooden stick and struck him hard. Joffrey lashed out, swinging his sword at her. Before the situation could escalate further, Nymeria, Arya's direwolf, leapt forward and sank her teeth into the prince's arm, driving him to the ground. Fearing for Nymeria's life, Arya fled into the woods and drove the direwolf away, urging her to run far and never return. By nightfall, Arya was found and brought before King Robert, who looked on with weary resignation as Cersei demanded justice. "There must be a punishment," she insisted, her voice cold and edged with venom. With Nymeria gone, Cersei set her sights on another target, Sansa's direwolf, Lady. Though Robert hesitated, it was Cersei's will that won out. The task of executing Lady fell to Ned. He did not flinch from his duty, but as he raised his sword over the innocent direwolf, the weight of it seemed greater than ever. While these events unfolded along the KingsRoad, Tyrion Lannister, the dwarf brother of Cersei and Jaime, had his own path to walk. Choosing to journey to the Wall with Jon and the other Night's Watch recruits, he was drawn to the edge of the known world by a mixture of curiosity and contempt for his family's highborn ways. As they traveled north, Tyrion and Jon found themselves talking of life's hardships and bitter truths. "All dwarfs are bastards in their father's eyes," Tyrion quipped, his voice tinged with both humor and melancholy. Jon listened intently, taking the words to heart, for in many ways, he felt himself an outcast, just like the little man. Back in Winterfell, Catelyn Stark remained at Bran's side, refusing to leave him even for a moment. Her vigil was interrupted by a fire that broke out in the castle's stables, drawing away the guards and leaving Bran vulnerable. In the chaos, an assassin slipped into Bran's chamber. Dagger in hand, he advanced upon the boy, but Catelyn fought back, struggling desperately against the intruder. The clash raged until Summer, Bran's direwolf, stormed into the room and tore the man to pieces. Covered in blood and trembling, Catelyn stared at Bran's still face, realizing that her son's fall had not been an accident. There was a darkness at play, something far more dangerous than the whispers of wolves in the night. The KingsRoad stretched on endlessly, winding like a serpent through the land, carrying each traveler further from where they began and closer to an uncertain fate. For the Stark family, the paths ahead would lead them into treacherous waters, and the choices made on that road would echo far and wide, reshaping the world as they knew it.